Would you still call it yogurt if the label reads more like a dessert than a simple cultured food? And what if some of the best-selling cups in America are the ones quietly doing the most damage to your grocery cart? Before we expose the worst offenders, do me a favor. Tap like if you want more honest food breakdowns, subscribe if you're tired of marketing tricks, and share this with the one person in your life who still thinks every yogurt cup is healthy. Yogurt has one of the cleanest health halos in the grocery store. It sits in the dairy aisle. It has pictures of fruit on the front. It talks about protein, probiotics, calcium, and gut health. So your brain fills in the rest. You assume this must be a smart choice. But that is exactly why yogurt has become one of the easiest places for food companies to hide sugar, starches, fillers, sweeteners, and dessert-level flavoring inside a product that still gets to wear a healthy smile. Now, to be fair, not every flavored yogurt is evil, and not every plain yogurt is amazing. This is not about fear. This is about clarity. If you want yogurt that actually helps you, the label should usually move in a simple direction. Fewer extras, less added sugar, solid protein, and live cultures that make the product worth buying in the first place. The more a brand has to distract you with candy, slogans, cartoons, or fancy packaging, the more careful you should be. And one quick note before we start. Formulas change. A brand that looks bad today can improve tomorrow. And a good brand can ruin itself next year. So use this video as your guide, not gospel, but always read the label in your store. Here is the fast filter I use. First, I check added sugar. The American Heart Association says most women should stay around 25 grams of added sugar a day, and a lot of these little yogurt cups chew through that budget faster than people realize. Second, I check protein, because yogurt that barely gives you any protein usually does a bad job keeping you full. Third, I read the ingredient list from top to bottom. Not because every extra ingredient is evil, but because the label tells you what the product is trying to be. Food, or a carefully managed dessert. And there's one more thing. The legal word yogurt on a package does not automatically mean the product is a great everyday choice. Some products meet the basic category, yet still bury you in sweetness or distract you with flavor tricks. That is why this video is not just about whether something can be sold as yogurt. It is about whether it deserves space in a healthy routine. Let us begin with the brands I would stop treating like health food. At number 11, Yoplait Original. This is one of the most common yogurts in America, and that is exactly why it matters. A 6-ounce strawberry cup has 18 grams of total sugar, including 13 grams of added sugar and only 5 grams of protein. That is not a great trade. You are not getting much fullness, not getting much protein, and not getting the kind of ingredient simplicity most people imagine when they hear the word yogurt. You're getting cultured low-fat milk, sugar, modified food starch, gelatin, pectin, flavoring, and a handful of extras. None of this makes Yoplait Original poison. Let us be mature about it. But if you eat this every morning because you think it is a clean, high-quality start to the day, you're paying for a sweet dairy snack wearing a health costume. At number 10, Dannon Fruit on the bottom. This one wins people over with nostalgia. It looks old school. It looks calm. It looks like something your parents bought, so your brain reads it as trustworthy. But a single strawberry cup has 12 grams of added sugar and only 5 grams of protein. The ingredient list is not outrageous by ultra-processed food standards, but that is part of the trap. Because the product looks moderate, people stop asking hard questions. And the hard question is simple. Why am I eating something with dessert-level sweetness if the protein payoff is this low? When a yogurt gives you almost no staying power, you get hungry again faster. That is when the real cost shows up. You do not just eat a sugary yogurt, you eat the yogurt, then you hunt for another snack an hour later. At number 9, Activia. This is where things get more interesting, because Activia does not just sell yogurt, it sells a story. The story is that your gut is in trouble, this cup understands your pain, and the answer is already in your refrigerator. That emotional marketing has always been the real product. Years ago, federal regulators challenged Dannon over health claims tied to Activia, and the company agreed to stop making certain exaggerated claims. That alone should make you cautious. Today, the vanilla cup still comes with 7 grams of added sugar, just 4 grams of protein, and a formula built from reduced fat milk, water, cane sugar, cornstarch, pectin flavoring, and lemon juice concentrate. Yes, it has probiotics, but so do many other yogurts that do not need to lean so hard on miracle-style messaging. A yogurt should not need a dramatic sales pitch to earn your trust. At number 8, Light and Fit Greek Vanilla. This is the kind of product that tricks smart shoppers because the macros look friendly at first glance. 80 calories, high protein, low sugar. Sounds perfect, right? Then you read the rest. Water is added, fructose is added, natural and artificial flavors are added, modified food starch is added, sucralose is added, acesulfame potassium is added. Suddenly, this stops feeling like yogurt and starts feeling like a lab project built to hit numbers on an app. If you truly love the taste and it helps you stay away from worse foods, fine. But let us not pretend this is the same thing as a clean, simple yogurt made from milk and cultures. It is a highly engineered diet product. At number 7, Too Good and Comern Zero Sugar. This one is clever, really clever. It knows shoppers are scared of sugar, so it rushes in like a hero. Zero sugar, low calories, high protein. End of story, except not really. The ingredient list includes ultra-filtered non-fat milk, skim milk, water, natural flavors, cream, pectin, tapioca flour lactase, calcium citrate, sea salt, stevia extract, citric acid, sodium citrate, vanilla extract, and more. In other words, the sugar came down, but the product did not become simpler. It became more designed. If your doctor told you to focus hard on sugar control, I understand why you might choose this. But for the average person trying to buy real yogurt, this is not the clean win the front label suggests. If this list is already changing the way you shop, hit subscribe right now because the next brands get even better at hiding junk behind good branding. And I promise the buy list at the end is worth staying for. At number 6, Chobani Flip. This is one of the easiest calls on the whole list because the product practically admits what it is. It comes with mix-ins, cookies, crunch, candy-style texture, fun, and yes, it is tasty. But a cookies and cream pack brings to 18 grams of total sugar, 14 grams of added sugar, and only 9 grams of protein. Again, not the worst thing ever made, but not something I would place in the same mental category as plain Greek yogurt. This is closer to a controlled dessert than a serious health food. The reason people get fooled is that the base starts as Greek yogurt, which makes the whole cup feel better than it is. But once you pour candy into the top, you do not get to keep pretending this is a nutrition play. At number 5, Oui by Yoplait Vanilla. This brand proves how powerful packaging can be. Put yogurt in a little glass jar, use French words, slow down the vibe, and suddenly people stop thinking about sugar. But the numbers still matter. One 5-ounce vanilla jar has 19 grams of total sugar and 12 grams of added sugar. It also has whole milk, which gives it a richer mouthfeel, and that makes people think it is more wholesome. Rich is not the same as healthy. Pretty is not the same as balanced. A product can be simple and still be too sweet to deserve a daily spot in your breakfast routine. And this is one of those products. It sells calm luxury while quietly functioning like a sweet treat. At number 4, Silk Vanilla Almond Milk Yogurt. Alternative. Let me say this carefully because some people truly need dairy-free options. If you cannot do dairy, I get it. This category matters. But when a single 5.3-ounce cup has 15 grams of sugar and only 5 grams of protein, you're not getting the strength most people expect from yogurt. You are also not getting actual dairy yogurt. You are getting a sweetened, almond-based alternative, thickened and fortified to mimic the experience. That can still fit a diet. But it should be judged honestly, not romantically. If you need dairy-free, your best move is usually the unsweetened version, not the vanilla dessert cup. At number 3, Go-Gurt. This brand has spent years turning yogurt into a tube-shaped children product, and that should already make you suspicious. Convenience is not the issue. The problem is what convenience is carrying. Even the protein version still has 13 grams of added sugar per 3-tube serving. That sounds less terrible until you remember how these are actually eaten. Kids do not think in serving sizes. They think in tubes. 1 becomes 2. 2 becomes 3. And because the product is soft, sweet, and fast, it disappears before the body has time to register anything meaningful. This is the kind of item parents buy with good intentions and then slowly realize they purchased a sugary dairy snack with cartoons. And number 2, Yo Crunch. If there were ever a product that belongs more in the candy aisle than the yogurt aisle, this is it. The whole concept is mix dessert pieces into yogurt and call it a snack. Oreo, M and Mrs. Snickers, Twix. The danger here is not subtle. It is right on top in a little dome. And in 2025, that dome became part of a major recall after Danone voluntarily pulled Yo Crunch products because of the potential presence of plastic pieces in the topper. That was a real reminder that flashy food engineering can go wrong in very real ways. Even without the recall, this product was already nutritionally weak. But after that incident, it became even harder to defend as something families should trust by default. And at number 1, Noosa. I know this will upset people because Noosa is delicious. Thick, creamy, rich, smooth, sweet. Exactly, that is the problem. The vanilla 8-ounce tub brings 32 grams of total sugar, 19 grams of added sugar, 12 grams of fat, and 8 grams of saturated fat. This is not a light mistake. This is a full dessert experience wearing probiotic makeup. Can it fit as an occasional treat? Sure, almost anything can. But if you are buying yogurt for everyday health, fullness, blood sugar control, or protein, this is one of the easiest skips in the store. It gives you the emotional reward of dessert while borrowing the reputation of yogurt. And when you eat products like this every week, something else happens that people rarely talk about. Your taste buds start expecting yogurt to taste like pudding. Then truly, good yogurt feels boring, even when it is the one that actually supports your goals. That is how the whole category gets twisted. Companies sell you candy sweet yogurt for long enough that simple yogurt starts feeling wrong. So if plain yogurt tastes too sharp at first, that does not mean it is bad. It usually means your palate has been trained by the sweeter stuff. So what should you buy instead? This is where the conversation gets better because good yogurt absolutely exists. The trick is to stop shopping by the front label and start shopping by what the product actually does for you. The best options tend to give you one or more of these advantages: simple ingredients, live cultures, low or zero added sugar, enough protein to keep you full, and a taste profile that does not need a candy coating to be enjoyable. And this is important. The best yogurt for you depends on what problem you're trying to solve. If you need a kid-friendly option, the answer may be different from the one for a lifter chasing protein. If your stomach is sensitive, probiotic density may matter more than creaminess. If you are trying to cut sweets, a tangy plain yogurt can help reset your taste buds faster than a flavored healthy cup ever will. So do not just ask, is this yogurt good? Ask, good for what? That question alone will make you a smarter shopper than most people walking through the dairy aisle. At number 9 on the buy list, Stonyfield Organic Kids Zero Added Sugar Pouches. I wanted to start here because so many parents feel trapped. They know the cartoon tube yogurts are not great, but they also need something easy. This option is one of the better middle grounds. The blueberry apple carrot pouch has 0 grams of added sugar, 5 grams of protein, and 6 grams of total sugar coming from the food itself, not a syrup dump. Is it perfect? No, it is still a pouch product designed for convenience. But compared with the usual kids' yogurt choices, this is a much smarter lane. At number 8, Nancy Organic Yogurt. This is the kind of brand more people should know. It is not loud, it is not flashy, it is not trying to become a dessert brand. Nancy highlights live probiotics in a serious way and says its organic yogurt contains more than 41 billion live probiotics per serving. That is a real strength if digestive support matters. It also comes from a brand that has built its identity around cultured dairy instead of sugary distractions. This is the type of yogurt that feels like it remembers what yogurt is supposed to be. At number 7, Lifeway Plain Kefir. Yes, kefir is drinkable, but it belongs in this conversation because it often beats spoonable yogurt where it counts. The Lifeway Plain low-fat kefir has no added sugar, 10 grams of protein per cup, and 12 live and active probiotic cultures. It is also up to 99% lactose-free, which makes it useful for people who struggle with regular dairy. The taste is tangier than standard yogurt, so not everyone will love it on day one. But if your goal is real cultured dairy with meaningful probiotic support, this is one of the strongest options you can buy. At number 6, Strauss Organic Whole Plain Greek Yogurt. This is the kind of product label nerds get excited about. Why? Because it is not trying to distract you. Strauss says right on the page that the yogurt is made with simple ingredients and no gums, thickeners, stabilizers, artificial ingredients, or coloring agents. A serving gives you 13 grams of protein and 0 added sugar. That is the kind of trade I like. You taste dairy, tang, texture, and actual food, not a chemistry trick. At number 5, Wallaby Plain Organic Whole Milk Greek Yogurt. This is a great example of how a yogurt can still feel creamy and satisfying without sliding into dessert territory. You get 15 grams of protein per serving, no added sugar, live and active cultures, and a very short ingredient list built around cultured whole organic milk. This is especially good for people who want a gentler, creamier Greek yogurt experience, but do not want the sweetness of flavored cups. Pause for 1 second and tell me in the comments, are you team tangy yogurt or team creamy yogurt? And if this video has saved you from even one bad buy, send it to a friend before their cart gets fooled too. At number 4, Maple Hill Plain Greek Yogurt. Maple Hill stands out because it uses 100% grass-fed organic milk, and for a lot of shoppers that matters. But even if you do not care about grass-fed claims, the plain version still checks the boxes that matter most: simple ingredients, live cultures, and no added sugar. That is what makes it a real option, not a marketing prop. It tastes like a food made from milk, not like a product built in a boardroom. And that matters more than people think, because when the base milk tastes good, a company has less reason to hide it under flavor systems, fake sweetness, or texture tricks. Good yogurt does not need camouflage. At number 3, Siggy's Plain Non-Fat Skyr. This is one of the best choices for people who want high protein without added sugar and without a giant ingredient parade. The plain non-fat cup has 16 grams of protein, 0 grams of added sugar, and just cultured pasteurized skim milk plus live active cultures. That is it. Siggy's also has a texture that feels rich even when the fat is low, which is not easy to do, honestly. For people moving away from sweet yogurts, this is one of the best bridge products because it still feels satisfying. And number 2, Clover Sonoma Greek non-fat plain. This one deserves more attention than it gets. It is made from cultured, organic pasteurized skim milk and live active cultures, with no added sugar and a huge 22 grams of protein per serving. The protein number is serious. If your main goal is fullness, muscle support, or breakfast that actually lasts, this is the kind of yogurt that can change your whole morning. Add your own berries, add cinnamon, add a spoon of nut butter if you want. Build the sweetness yourself instead of paying a company to do it for you badly. Before I give you the number 1 pick, take a quick second to save this video so you can use it on your next grocery trip. And if you know someone who always buys yogurt by the front label, send this to them with no warning and let the dairy aisle do the teaching. And at number 1, Phage Total Plain. This is still one of the cleanest benchmarks in the yogurt aisle. The plain non-fat version keeps it extremely simple. Skimmed milk and live active yogurt cultures, no added sugar, strong protein, thick texture, real tang. It is not trying to be a milkshake, it is not trying to seduce your sweet tooth. It is just doing the job yogurt is supposed to do. And that is exactly why it wins. If you want a default yogurt you can trust again and again, Phage remains one of the safest bets in the store. And if plain yogurt has burned you in the past, let me help you fix that fast. Do not expect it to taste like vanilla pudding. Use it like a base. Add berries for brightness, add cinnamon for warmth, add chia seeds for texture, add crushed walnuts if you want more staying power. If you need sweetness, start small with honey instead of drowning the whole bowl. When you control the add-ins, the yogurt works for you instead of the company working on your cravings. Now here's the bigger lesson, because this video is not really about one brand beating another brand. It is about how modern grocery shopping works. Companies know you're busy, they know you're tired, they know you want something fast that feels healthy, so they use words like protein, probiotics, and gut health like magic spells. But those words only matter after the label proves the product deserves them. Real yogurt does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be joyless. It does not have to be plain enough to make you sad. But it should still act like food, not like a dessert in disguise. When the sugar climbs while the protein stays weak, when the ingredient list gets strange, when the flavor depends on sweeteners and fillers and mood-setting packaging, that is your sign to step back. And here's the good news. You do not need to become a food scientist to shop better. Most of the time, one of 2 simple strategies works. Strategy 1, buy a plain yogurt you actually respect, then add your own fruit. Strategy 2, if you buy flavored yogurt, make sure the protein is still strong and the added sugar stays low. That one habit can clean up your breakfast without making you feel restricted. A simple rule can save you a lot of bad purchases. First, look at added sugar. Second, look at protein. Third, read the ingredient list. And fourth, ask one brutally honest question. If this product were sold without the fruit picture or the health slogan, would I still believe it belongs in the healthy part of my day? If the answer is no, put it back. Also, stop letting serving tricks confuse you. Some brands make the cup look tiny and harmless, but the sugar still adds up. Some make the protein look huge on the front while quietly giving you a pile of sweeteners or mix-ins on the back. Slow down for 10 seconds. Compare cup to cup. The truth almost always shows up once you stop shopping emotionally. And do not miss the emotional side of this, because it matters. A lot of people are trying to eat better and still feel like they fail. But sometimes the problem is not your discipline. Sometimes the problem is that the food was designed to confuse you. Once you see the game, you shop calmer. You stop blaming yourself. You stop rewarding brands for tricking you. And that one shift can improve your breakfast, your snacking, your energy, and even your grocery bill. That is why I care about videos like this. Not because every yogurt decision will change your life, but because choices stack up. A breakfast you trust leads to fewer cravings later. Fewer cravings lead to fewer impulse buys. Fewer impulse buys make healthy eating feel less exhausting. And when food stops playing mind games, consistency gets easier. That is how boring wins. Quietly, over time, for real, repeatedly, and usually much faster than flashy food marketing wants you to believe. So next time you stand in front of that cold wall of colorful cups, do not ask which yogurt looks healthiest. Ask which one has earned the right to call itself yogurt in your kitchen. That one question can save you money, sugar, disappointment, and a whole lot of fake health food. If you want, I can make a part 2 on the best and worst protein bars, frozen meals, or breakfast cereals, because the yogurt aisle is only the beginning. But for now, remember this. The strongest food choices are usually the least dramatic, and the best yogurt rarely needs to shout. That is the difference between a product that wants to nourish you in shelf space